Hello friends, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Prajwal and you're watching IIMB.
My name is Prajwal and I am from IIMB Inventors Inventing Machine Business and from the school BGS National Public School. Today I have brought up this innovative idea of the smart water tap. Every day a lot of liters of water is wasted only through our taps. Around 20,000 liters of water is wasted every month in one house. That's a lot of water. That much water can be used in a kitchen for at least a week with rigorous use. Now, the most common way of wasting water is to open the tap and leave it on as it is. This may be due to many reasons, because either your hands would be engaged to close the tap or because you would have just forgot it. This problem has been observed in our school as well. To fix this problem, we have come up with this idea. In our school, many students would be in a rush and hence would forget to turn off the taps. That water from the tap keeps flowing just to the drainage sink. And this water is non-reusable. That means we cannot use the same water as it has become contaminated with germs after we have washed our hands. So to save this water, we have built the smart water tap. The smart water tap evacuates water only when an object is placed below the tap. For example, if I place my hand below the tap, there's an LED going on and water starts coming out. And I can easily wash my hands. And the second most problem by which the water is wasted in taps is because your hands are engaged. So while brushing, most of the people have this habit to keep the tap on, put the toothpaste on the brush and start brushing. And many people brush for more than 2 to 3 minutes a day. So over the period of this time, a lot of water is wasted, a minimum of 3 to 4 liters. Imagine this water being stored in a container. This would be enough for a person's bath. This much water can be also used for a greater use, right? So in this idea, we do not need our hands to be engaged at all. We do not need to touch our hands on the tap to turn it on like we need to on the ordinary tap. Instead, we put our hands below the tap and wow, there's water coming out. And we can wash our hands, wipe our hands, etc. And this smart water tap is powered by a power bank currently, but many of us know that we have outlets near our taps too. This is used to charge shaving essentials, etc. The same outlet can be used for the smart water tap too. Now, all of us use smartphones. And have you ever observed the adapter of the smartphone? The adapter of the smartphone gives out 5 volts. That is more than enough for the smart water tap. Now, the smart water tap also has another advantage upon the ordinary tap. In the ordinary tap, we need human contact. So let me give you an example. Our parents, after we come from play, recommend us to wash our hands. And they tell us to scrub back behind our hands, on our palms, etc. But do you know that's of no use? Because when we come from playing, we touch with the dirty hands, we touch the tap. Now the germs are on this tap. And now when we wash our hands nicely and with soap, etc., we have to touch the same tap again in order to turn the water on. Or we would have to leave the tap on, which is a lot of wastage of water. Either way, our hand is still contaminated with the same amount of germs it was before. And we eat or ingest the same food with the same hands. So that is the spreading of bacteria. So in the smart water tap, you do not have to do it. Instead, just put your hand down and there's water coming out. Now, the second advantage of the smart water tap over the ordinary tap is that of its cost. Now, we know that the idea of smart water tap already exists in our environment, right? But now what's so special about this? Why have we chose this idea when it already exists? Isn't that copying? Well, it may not be copying, but it can be called as developing. The current existing smart water tap have some disadvantages that we have found out. The main disadvantage is of the cost. The current smart water taps that are running in the market are up to 2,000 to 3,000 rupees, and that's a lot. If we would have to use the pre-existing smart water taps in our school, then that would cost up to 30,000 to 40,000. Now, come on, we can't spend that much only for a tap or to save water. So the smart water tap that we have built costs up to 400 to 500 rupees. Now the ordinary tap costs up to 300 rupees. And if you buy an ordinary tap, it would be 300. So with the difference of 100 rupees, that is 400 minus 300, 100 rupees, we would get something that is way more useful socially and economically. Also, it would improve our hygiene, it would save water, and as you can see, it has a lot of benefits. So when the smart water tap was first come into our minds, we thought of reducing the cost, because if the idea already exists, then there's no point of just making it again. So we thought of reducing the cost. The second most disadvantage of the ordinary or pre-existing smart water tap is of the infrared sensor it uses. Now, the infrared sensor is a sensor that reads or sends IR waves, and then it's rebounded, or when struck by an obstacle, these waves are returned to the IR receiver. Now, if you know a fact, the sun rays also emit IR waves. So now, if the sun rays emit IR waves, that basically means we can't use this sensor outdoors, or many of us will have ventilators that are on the outside of the building or of the house. So sunlight would obviously come in. So when the sunlight reaches the IR sensor of the pre-existing smart water tap, then the smart water tap automatically turns on. And the second most disadvantage of the IR sensor is that of the color sensing it chooses. It cannot sense black. So if you're going to hold a black cup under the pre-existing smart water tap, then I'm sorry, it's not going to sense it. Whereas we have upgraded or fixed that problem into and used this ultrasonic sensor. Now the ultrasonic sensor is the perfect sensor for this project because it's a sound-based sensor. The ultrasonic sensor sends sound waves through the air, which are reflected by the object and received by the other barrier, as you can see. So when these sound waves take time to go to the object, rebound back, we calculate this time in the Arduino that I have used here. It's a programmable microcontroller, and we have also used an L29 3D motor driver board along with the 12-volt DC high-pressure motor pump. So now the question arises is done. Okay, we would have to replace our tap, so that's a waste of money again, right? So we have fixed that problem as well. The smart water tap comes in two models. The first model is it can be attached to a pre-existing tap by yourself, and the second model is that you can purchase the entire smart water tap and use that too. So what we would do in the first model is that we would only take the 12-volt high power high pressure motor pump, and we would attach it to one of the pipes that are kept below. So, and we would use this control unit and the sensor, and we would put it on your tap. So now this tap can also be converted into the smart water tap. And coming back to the pre-existing taps, the pre-existing taps are taps by which we would have to replace the entire tap. And if we keep on doing that, then it's again it's this tap that is present currently would become waste or would be wasted. So that's not good. So we have come up with two models, and this control unit, each control unit can control up to 13 taps at once. So currently it is controlling only one tap. So if you already have one smart water tap and you're going to buy 2 or 3 more for your house, then you would only need to buy the model A, that is the first model. So the first model, you would have to attach it directly to the tap, and since you already have the control unit, you would not necessarily need to buy the control unit again. So the control unit consists of an Arduino Uno, some jumper wires, and an L29 3D motor driver board. and this is used to drive the high pressure motor pump. Now, we have also thought of decreasing the cost even further by using a submersible motor pump. But the problem we face for this is that the submersible water pump doesn't give too much pressure, or it can't lift water, but it can only throw water out. So we have upgraded that using the 12 volt high pressure DC motor pump. Now, as I told you, this is currently powered by a power bank, and it can be powered by your AC outlet as well. And the second advantage of this over the pre-existing smart water tap, as I told you, is the IR sensor used in it. And IR sensors, according to me, are pretty discriminative, because if a person his hand is black due to any reason, it may be because of his natural color, it may be because he might have just been painting with a black color and his hand has become black, he will find it very difficult to wash his hands under the pre-existing smart water tap, or it would not be able to sense anything that is black. If you hold a black mug under it, that's not going to give out water at all. But the ultrasonic technology solves that problem. So when I keep my hand below it, it gives out water, no matter what the color is, or what the object is, or what the size of the object is. So now what if the next question that arises is, what if there is an object left in the sink, or there's something stuck in the sink for a longer period of time? Then there's a water wastage again. So that problem is fixed too. The smart water tap evacuates water for the maximum of 1 minute in one use. So if I keep my hand continuously for 1 minute, then it's going to pass water and then it will initially stop. So that also saves water. Thank you.